hand to his head. "What is it?" said Percy. "Nothing." The pain has gone as quickly as it had come. Harder to shake off was the feeling that Harry had got from the teacher's look, a feeling that he didn't like Harry at all. "Who's the teacher talking to Professor Quirrell?" he asked Percy. "Oh, you know Quirrell already, do you? No wonder he's looking so nervous. That's Professor Snape. He teaches potions, but he doesn't want to. Everybody knows he's after Quirrell's job. Knows an awful lot about the dark arts, that Snape." Harry watched Snape for a while, but Snape didn't look at him at all. At last, the puddings disappeared and Professor Dumbledore got to his feet again. The hall fell silent. Just a few more words now that we are fed and watered. I have a few start-of-term notices to give you. First years should note that the forest in the grounds is forbidden to all pupils, and a few of our older students would do well to remember that. Dumbledore's twinkling eyes flashed in the direction of the Weasley twins. I have also been asked by Mr. Filch, the caretaker, to remind you all that no magic should be used between the classes in the corridors. Quidditch trials will be held in the second week of term. Anyone interested in playing for their house teams should contact Madame Hooch. And finally, I must tell you that this year, the third floor corridor on the right-hand side is out of bounds to everyone who does not wish to die a very painful death. Harry laughed, but he was one of the only few that did. "He's not serious," he muttered to Percy. "He must be," said Percy, frowning at Dumbledore. "It's odd, because he usually gives us a reason why we're not supposed to go somewhere. I mean, the forest is full of dangerous beasts. Everybody knows that. I do think he might have told us the prefix, at least." "And now, before we go to bed, let us sing the school song," cried Dumbledore. Harry noticed that the other teachers' smile had become rather fixed. Dumbledore gave his wand a little flick, as if he was trying to get a fly off the end, and a long yellow ribbon flew out of it, which rose high above the table and twisted itself into snake-like words. "Everyone picked their favorite song," Dumbledore said, "and off we go." And then the school bellowed, "Hogwarts, Hogwarts, Hoggy-Worry Hogwarts. Teach us something, please, whether we be old and bald or young with scabby knees. Our heads could do with filling with some interesting stuff, for now they're bare and full of air, dead flies and bits of fluff. So teach us things worth knowing. Bring back what we've forgot. Just do your best, we'll do the rest, and learn until our brains all rot." Everybody finished the song at different times. At last, only the Weasley twins were left, singing along to a very slow funeral march. Dumbledore conducted their last few lines with his wand, and when they had finished, he was one of those who clapped the loudest. "Ah, music," he said, wiping his eyes. "A magic beyond all we do here. And now, bedtime. Off you trot." The Gryffindor first years followed Percy through the chattering crowds, out of the great hall, and up the marble staircase. Harry's legs were like lead again, but only because he was so tired and full of food. He was too sleepy to even be surprised that people in the portraits along the corridors whispered and pointed as they passed, or that twice Percy led them through doorways hidden behind sliding panels and hanging tapestries. They climbed more staircases, yawning and dragging their feet, and Harry was just wondering how much further they had to go until they came to a sudden halt. A bundle of walking sticks was floating in the mid-air ahead of them, and as Percy took a step towards them, they started throwing themselves at him. "Peeves," whispered Percy to the first years. "A poltergeist." He raised his voice. "Peeves, show yourself." A loud, rude sound, like the air being let out of a balloon, answered. "Do you want me to get the bloody Baron?" There was a pop, and a little man with wicked dark eyes and a wide mouth appeared, floating cross-legged in the air, clutching the walking sticks. "Oh," he said with an evil cackle. "Icky first years, what fun!" He swooped suddenly at them. They all ducked. "Go away, Peeves, or the Baron will hear about this. I mean it," barked Percy. Peeves stuck out his tongue and vanished, dropping the walking sticks on Neville's head. They heard him zooming away, rattling coats of armors as he passed. "You would want to watch out for Peeves," said Percy, as they set off again. "The bloody Baron's the only one who can keep him under control, and he won't listen to us prefects. All right, here we are." At the very end of the corridor hung a portrait of a very fat woman in a pink silk dress. "A password," she said. "Caput Draconis," said Percy, and the portrait swung forward to reveal a round hole in the wall. They all scrambled through it. Neville needed a leg up and found themselves in the Gryffindor common room, a cozy round room full of squashy armchairs. Percy directed the girls through one door to their dormitory and the boys through another. At the top of a spiral staircase, they were obviously in one of the towers. They found their beds at last. 5 4-posters hung with a deep red velvet curtain. Their trunks had already been brought up. Too tired to talk much, they pulled on their pajamas and fell into bed. "Great food, isn't it?" Ron muttered to Harry through the hangings. "Get off, Scabbers. He's chewing my sheets." Harry was going to ask Ron if he had any of the treacle tart, but he fell asleep almost at once. Harry had perhaps eaten a bit too much because he had a very strange dream. He was wearing Professor Quirrell's turban, which kept talking to him, telling him he must transfer to Slytherin at once because it was his destiny. Harry told the turban he didn't want to be in Slytherin, and it got heavier and heavier. He tried to pull it off, but it tightened painfully. And then there was Malfoy laughing at him as he struggled with it. Then Malfoy turned into the hook-nosed teacher, Snape, whose laugh became high and cold. Then there was a burst of green light, and Harry woke up, sweating and shaking. He rolled over and fell asleep again, and when he woke the next day, he didn't remember the dream at all. All right, so tomorrow we will